In the sleek, glass-walled boardroom of Apex Innovations, the air hummed with the quiet confidence of success. Elena Voss, the formidable CEO, stood at the head of the table, her sharp blazer hugging her frame like armor. Her chestnut hair fell in soft waves, framing a face that could command a room with a single glance. Across from her stood Marcus Reed, a single dad and the company's lead engineer, his broad shoulders filling out a simple navy shirt. The tension between them was palpable, not just from the high-stakes project they'd been wrestling with for months, but from something deeper, unspoken. Elena's eyes locked onto Marcus's, her lips curling into a challenge. "Dance with me before you regret it," she said, her voice low, daring him to step into her world. Marcus froze, his calloused hands tightening on the edge of the table. He was a man of logic, of circuits and code, not ballroom floors or bold propositions. His daughter, Lily, was his anchor, her crayon drawings tucked in his briefcase a reminder of why he kept his life grounded. But Elena's words stirred something in him, a spark he'd buried under years of responsibility. The room seemed to shrink, the city skyline beyond the windows fading as their gazes held. Elena stepped closer, her heels clicking softly on the polished floor, her presence magnetic. Marcus's mind raced, his late wife's laughter echoed faintly, a ghost of joy he hadn't felt in years. Elena wasn't just his boss, she was a force, a woman who'd clawed her way to the top, unapologetic and fierce. Yet here she was, offering him a moment, a chance to feel alive. He swallowed hard, his heart thudding against his ribs. The other executives had long since left, leaving them alone in this sterile, modern space. Elena's challenge hung in the air, a gauntlet thrown. Marcus's fingers twitched, torn between the safety of his routine and the pull of her invitation. She tilted her head, her eyes glinting with mischief and something softer, almost vulnerable. "Come on, Reed," she teased, "live a little." The weight of her words pressed against his chest, stirring memories of a time when he wasn't just a dad, just an engineer, but a man who dreamed. Elena's own past flickered in her mind, boardrooms won, battles fought, a heart guarded behind her polished exterior. She hadn't expected to feel this pull toward Marcus, this quiet man who carried his burdens with grace. His dedication to Lily, the way he spoke of her with such warmth, had chipped away at Elena's walls. Now, standing inches from him, she wanted to shatter them entirely. Marcus's silence stretched, his hazel eyes searching hers for a trap, a joke, anything but sincerity. But Elena's gaze was steady, unwavering. The hum of the city below seemed distant, the boardroom a world of its own. She extended her hand, palm up, an invitation and a command. Marcus's breath caught, his mind a battlefield of duty and desire. Lily's bedtime story waited at home, her small hand tugging at his sleeve, but here was Elena, offering a dance, a moment to be more than he'd allowed himself to be. The clock on the wall ticked loudly, each second a choice. Elena's lips parted, her voice softer now, "Don't make me ask twice." Marcus's hand hovered, the weight of her challenge sinking into his bones. This wasn't just a dance, it was a leap, a risk, a chance to feel the rhythm of something new. 3,000 characters. Marcus's hand finally moved, brushing against Elena's as he stepped forward, the contact sending a jolt through them both. The boardroom's cold fluorescence cast sharp shadows, but Elena's warmth cut through the chill. She led him to the open space near the windows, where the city's lights twinkled like a promise. No music played, yet Elena began to sway, her movements fluid, confident, pulling Marcus into her orbit. He stumbled at first, his boots heavy compared to her graceful steps, but her hand on his shoulder steadied him. "Follow me," she murmured, her breath warm against his ear. Marcus's heart pounded, not from the dance but from her proximity, the scent of her perfume, jasmine and ambition, clouding his thoughts. He thought of Lily, asleep by now, her stuffed bear clutched tight, unaware her dad was dancing with the CEO. Elena's fingers tightened on his, guiding him through an invisible melody. She was a vision, her blazer discarded on a chair, her white blouse catching the light. Marcus's hands found her waist, tentative but growing bolder. The city below pulsed with life, but here, in this moment, it was just them. Elena's eyes never left his, searching, challenging, inviting. "You're not as stiff as I thought," she teased, her voice a low hum. Marcus chuckled, surprising himself, the sound foreign after years of quiet evenings. He'd forgotten what it felt like to move like this, to let go. Alina's past flashed before her, lonely nights in penthouses, victories that felt hollow without someone to share them. Marcus was different, grounded, real. His calloused hands spoke of hard work, his eyes of sacrifice. She wanted to know him, to peel back the layers of the man who'd caught her off guard. Marcus's mind spun with memories of his wife, their first dance at a county fair, her laughter bright as the lights. Guilt tugged at him, but Alina's presence was a tide, pulling him forward. Her hand slid to his neck, her touch igniting sparks. "You're thinking too much," she said, her lips close to his. Marcus exhaled, letting her lead, their bodies finding a rhythm. The boardroom's sterile lines softened as they moved, the glass walls reflecting their silhouettes. Alina's confidence was intoxicating, but beneath it, Marcus sensed a flicker of doubt, a woman who rarely let anyone close. He wanted to ask why him, why now, but the dance held him captive. Her hair brushed his cheek, and for a moment, he was weightless, free. The city's hum faded, replaced by the soft shuffle of their steps. Alina's breath hitched as Marcus's grip tightened, his hesitation giving way to instinct. She smiled, a rare, genuine curve of her lips. This wasn't just a dance, it was a confession, a bridge between their worlds. Marcus's daughter, his responsibilities, loomed in the back of his mind, but Alina's pull was stronger. Her eyes softened, revealing a vulnerability she hid from the world. "You feel it, don't you?" she whispered. Marcus nodded, unable to lie. The dance was a language, speaking what words couldn't. Their steps grew bolder, the space between them shrinking. Alina's heart raced, a feeling she hadn't allowed in years. Marcus was a risk, a variable she couldn't control, and yet she wanted him. The boardroom, once a place of deals and deadlines, became a stage for something raw, something alive, 3,000 characters. The dance slowed, their movements deliberate, each step a conversation. Alina's hand rested on Marcus's chest, feeling the steady thump of his heart. His eyes, hazel and unguarded, held hers, reflecting the city's glow. "Why me?" he asked, his voice rough, breaking the silence. Alina's smile faltered, her guard slipping. "Because you see me," she said simply, her fingers tracing the collar of his shirt. Marcus's breath caught. He saw her strength, her fire, but also the loneliness she buried. He thought of Lily's drawings, her innocent trust, and how Alina's world was galaxies from his. Yet here they were, tethered by this moment. Alina stepped closer, her forehead nearly touching his. "You're not afraid of me," she said, wonder in her voice. Marcus shook his head, his hands steady on her waist. He was afraid of losing control, of risking his daughter's stability, but not of her. Alina's vulnerability cracked open, revealing a woman who'd built an empire but craved connection. Marcus's late wife had been his world, but Alina was a storm, stirring him awake. The boardroom's glass walls mirrored their closeness, the city a silent witness. Alina's fingers brushed his jaw, her touch electric. "One dance," she said, "and you're already unraveling me." Marcus's laugh was soft, disbelieving. He was just a dad, just an engineer, but in her eyes, he was more. The weight of his life, Lily's school plays, her bedtime stories, felt distant, drowned by Alina's gravity. She swayed, pulling him with her, their bodies in sync. The absence of music didn't matter, their heartbeats set the tempo. Alina's mind raced with memories of empty victories, of men who wanted her power, not her. Marcus was different, his sincerity disarming. She wanted to keep him here, in this bubble, away from the world's demands. Marcus's hand slid to her back, his touch grounding her. He saw the CEO, but also the woman who laughed at his bad jokes during late-night project meetings. The dance was a rebellion against their roles, a stolen moment of truth. Alina's eyes glistened, not with tears but with possibility. "What happens after this?" Marcus asked, his voice barely above a whisper. Alina's answer was a smile, sad and hopeful. "We find out together." Their steps slowed, the dance nearing its end, but neither pulled away. The boardroom, cold and corporate, felt warm, alive. Marcus's guilt ebbed, replaced by a hunger for this, for her. Alina's walls crumbled, her heart opened for the first time in years. The city lights flickered, a reminder of the world waiting outside. But for now, they danced, suspended in a moment that felt eternal. 3,000 characters. As the dance faded, Alina and Marcus stood still, their hands lingering, reluctant to break the spell. The boardroom's silence was heavy, filled with the weight of what had just happened. Alina's chest rose and fell, her eyes searching his for answers. Marcus's hand dropped, but his gaze didn't. "Elena," he started, her name foreign on his tongue, intimate. She waited, her breath caught, bracing for rejection. But Marcus only said, "I don't know how to do this." His honesty hit her like a wave. She stepped back, her heels sharp against the floor, creating distance. The city's glow cast her in silhouette, a queen reclaiming her throne. "You don't have to," she said, her voice steady but soft. Marcus's mind churned, Lily's smile, her small hand in his, the life he'd built from grief. Elena was a comet, brilliant but fleeting, and he was rooted, steady. Yet her pull was undeniable. She turned to the window, her reflection sharp against the glass. "I don't regret asking," she said, her back to him. Marcus's heart ached, he saw her strength, but also her solitude. He stepped forward, close enough to feel her warmth. "I don't regret saying yes," he admitted. Elena's shoulders relaxed, a small victory. The boardroom felt smaller now, their worlds colliding in the quiet. She faced him, her eyes fierce but gentle. "This doesn't have to be complicated," she said, though they both knew it was. Marcus thought of his daughter, of bedtime stories and soccer practices, and how Elena's life was private jets and power plays. Yet here they were, bound by a dance. Elena's fingers brushed his, a fleeting touch. "Come to my place tomorrow," she said, not a command but a plea. Marcus's silence was answer enough, his eyes conflicted. The clock ticked, the moment stretching. Elena's heart pounded, she'd risked vulnerability, a rare move. Marcus's hand twitched, wanting to reach for her but held back by duty. The city hummed below, indifferent to their crossroads. Elena smiled, small and knowing. "Think about it," she said, grabbing her blazer. Marcus nodded, his throat tight. As she walked away, her heels echoing, he felt the weight of her absence. The boardroom was cold again, but the memory of her warmth lingered. 3,000 characters.